Hello and welcome back. It's me, Rick. Welcome to the fourth episode of Opolis Inc. Today we automate charcoal, mining box, and we do some trading. Follow along for more. As you'll have seen, we've got quite a few things to do, so let's get started, shall we? So in the last episode we were about to make crushers and automate our sand to then automate glass. Before we do that, however, I'd like to make a combiner. The combiner is made with a steel casing, 2 pistons, 2 basic control circuits, and 4 redstones. The reason why I'm doing the combiner first is because the steel casing, it's so much easier to craft in a combiner rather than having to craft 8 advanced processing blocks every time and then sell them in the catalog. We have our 8 advanced processing blocks, and we can get our steel casing. Okay, we now have everything for our combiner, so let's craft it. And we can temporarily place it here. This will now need energy, so what we need is some basic universal cable, which we can buy from the catalog for basic power box. Basic power box, once again, is obtainable from the market by selling redstone or coal. I still had a few basic power box left. I'm gonna buy some basic universal cable. We can now remove this wind generator, connect all our machines with some basic universal cable, and then replace the wind generator. What we need next to make the steel casings in the combiner is some infused alloy, which we can get in a metallurgic infuser with redstone and copper. So let's go ahead and get some. While our infused alloy are being made, I'm gonna buy some wood copper chest upgrades, and I'm gonna upgrade this chest as it was quite full. I'll sell some more wood, get more basic storage box, and buy the copper to iron chest upgrade, as well as an iron to gold chest upgrade. We now have enough infused alloy to craft 2 steel casings. All we need is 8 pieces of steel ingot. The steel once again is made in a mixer with molten coal and molten iron. Now we should have enough steel coming in, and I'm gonna convert it into ingots and then craft our steel casing in the combiner. Let's place our 8 steel ingots and the 16 infused alloy, and let's wait for the combiner to do its work. That's the first steel casing, and that's the second. I've been thinking about the automation we've been working on, and I think I'd rather focus on our ores first. If we use an enrichment chamber, in fact, we'll be able to transform 3 pieces of raw ore into 4 dusts, making it so much easier for us in the future to obtain the crushers and eventually automate the glass as we were planning to. The enrichment chamber is crafted with 4 redstones, 2 pieces of iron, 2 basic control circuits, and a steel casing. All things that we already have. There we have it. And we can place it here. Now, if I go back to my query, for example, this stack of copper, and throw it into the enrichment chamber, we'll slowly start yielding every 3 pieces of raw copper into 4 pieces of copper dust. Meaning that for each stack of raw ore, we should obtain around 21 extra pieces of ore dust. Because copper is such a common material, I think we'll use that to obtain the basic processing box that we need for our unbreakable processing license. Now that we have an enrichment chamber, we can also craft an energized smelter, which is crafted like this. We can now just place it here, connect it to some power, and if we go in the settings, in the site config, it will automatically be on output on the right. We can click on auto eject, and all our dust will now be intaken from the left input, and they will be smelted automatically, making this process automatic. We can then place a chest to the right. Once again, go inside config, output, auto eject on, and all the smelted ingots will be ejected into this chest. As you can hear, these machines are incredibly loud. If we open our inventory and we click on here, you'll see a list of all the items that are making a noise around us, and we can proceed and click on muffle sound and adjust the volume as we please. I personally like to keep it very low. To make things even faster, I'm gonna craft this basic tiers installer, one for the enrichment chamber and one for the energized smelter. We'll once again need some basic control circuits, which is made in the metallurgic infuser with osmium and redstone. We can now craft them, and if we shift right click on our machines, they will be upgraded. Boop, boop. Now, as you can see, the smelting factory will be able to smelt 3 items at a time. We can either do it manually, this way, or we can just click on auto sort. We can also do the same on the basic enriching factory. If we place some more copper, in fact, chuck it in, press on auto sort, and there we go. These will, however, consume more energy than it did before. It seems like that the wind generator is not enough. The energy that was stored inside it's in fact going down. So I'd better grab another one. I've also realized that because of the low elevation that we are at, the wind generator is currently only making 50 out of 80 FE per tick. So I'd better buy a solar generator. We can place it here and muffle the noise. It seems like this should be enough now. I'd still really like to buy some more solar generator, which costs 4 basic power bucks, which I can get by selling coal, charcoal, or redstone. The next goal of today is to automate charcoal production. To do that, we'll need another cloche, which as we have seen in the last episode costs 5 basic farming bucks. I can get the basic farming bucks fairly easily now that we have automated wheat. There we have it, and that's our cloche. I've just been on for a walk in the forest, found some wild carrots, and will now use them to craft the main output upgrades, which we'll need to make the no other drops upgrade. These removes all drops except the main output. We'll need it in the cloche in fact, so that it will only drop logs and nothing else. To do that, we'll also need a no seed upgrade, which as we have seen in the last episode is crafted with 4 seeds of any type and an upgrade base. While I'm at it, I'm also gonna craft one for this cloche here because I've realized that I've never crafted it last episode. Let's get 2 upgrade base, craft our no seeds upgrades, and place one in here. In the meantime, I'm gonna place a basic logistical transporter here, place a chest on top, configure the transporter as extract. I'll make sure that it's on input on top, and put our raw ores in the chest. These will now automatically be sucked in the basic enriching factory, enriched into dust, and then smelted. I'll quickly move all the ores that we have accumulated in our quarry. Now we can make some gold nuggets. We'll need 4 golden carrots. We'll also need another upgrade base. Put the 4 golden carrots around it. And that's our main output upgrade. We can now craft the no other drops upgrade and finally proceed to automate the charcoal production. We can now place a drawer here, basic logistical transport with a furnace on top, and a basic logistical transport here. Configure these to extract, as well as this one. We need another basic logistical transport on top of the furnace. Place our cloche over here with our no other drops upgrade, a piece of dirt, and a spruce sapling. It will now take 1200 ticks to generate logs. I'm quickly gonna make some speed upgrades. And in the meanwhile, it's already been producing some spruce log. We now need to set this basic logistical transporter to extract, and it will end up here in the furnace. All we need to do now is to kickstart it with a piece of charcoal or logs. It will start melting it, which will generate charcoal. It will end up in this drawer and get sucked back into the furnace. Once the furnace will have 64 charcoal, then it will start to accumulate in the drawer, making it an infinite charcoal farm. Upgraded the speed upgrade to tier 2. And it will now take only 800 ticks per 2 logs. We now have enough basic power bucks to buy another solar generator. And let's place that here. I've been melting quite a few ingots. We can now sell some copper ingots, as well as some tin and aluminium. We now have 30 basic processing bucks. We only need 226 more to go. Now, this seems to be going great. We in fact already have 41 charcoal. However, the cloche doesn't seem to be able to keep up. But the good thing about this design is that it's easily scalable. I can in fact just craft another cloche or 2, put them on the side and connect them to the furnace. Let's buy 2 more cloche, get some more saplings and some dirt. We can now place the 2 cloche here and here. We now need to make sure that these are not connected to each other. We just shift right click until it says none and there's no connection. We can now place a piece of dirt and sapling, get them to extract, and that will increase even more our charcoal production. For the time being, I'm still too poor to make upgrade slots for all of them, so we'll just let them run like this. It should be good enough. I will, however, have to at least make the other drop upgrades at some point, but the drops there are no logs, will just stay in the cloche inventory. And for the time being, I'm gonna have to manually empty them. Right, our furnace is finally full of charcoal, and as I mentioned earlier, the drawer will now act as a backup and store up to 2000 charcoal for us. We'll then be able to grab this charcoal, our basic power license, and sell it in a market for basic power bucks. The next thing I'd like to work towards is getting these receipts, which we'll get by trading with villagers. In the first episode, we grabbed a few villagers, and we still haven't relocated them. So let's make them some small cages, houses, I mean. And we need to place some glass over here, just to protect them, obviously. and then place them here. We now have a carpenter, a weaponsmith, an armorer, and a cartographer. All we're missing is a farmer, so I'm gonna have to go back to the village and look for one. Well, at the village, I found this baby who's still unemployed, so I can now leave it here, quickly and close it, and in about 7 minutes it should turn into a farmer for us. I've also just realized that I was looking at our villagers, I've seen that they gave us different recipes, like 3, 4, 1, 1 again, and this should be number 2. So we'll need to swap one of these for one of the villagers that gives us the recipe number 5. I want to keep numbers. That's his name, by the way, as it asks for 16 mini charcoal for a receipt. And we've just automated charcoal over there, so it should be really easy to trade with this villager. We can in fact take a whole stack of charcoal. Each piece of charcoal will give us 8 mini charcoals. We can trade with him for this villager receipt. We've now also leveled it, so it should come up with new deals. There we go. Asking for copper chain and gold chain. We'll keep trading with mini charcoal until he doesn't want anymore. The deal is now off, which means that we'll now need one of these items to keep trading with it. Hannibal should also be pretty easy to trade with. It in fact only needs 10 pieces of cobblestone per receipt. We have nearly 2,000, so it shouldn't be an issue. And we also have new trades for him. And we managed to unlock even more. 10 pieces of gold will now give us 4 villager receipts, and steel ingots will give us 5. Cameron also wants cobblestone for the villager receipt number 3. Now also trades stone bricks and bricks for more receipts. So let's trade it. Cameron seems to want some barriers, which I have no idea if we can even get. This is weird. Well, Susie wants some paper to trade with us. Copper chains seems easy enough to craft, so I'm gonna craft a couple and trade them with numbers just to upgrade their tradings. We've now unlocked this quest, which is the basic trading license. Craft it will need one of each licenses. And as mentioned earlier, for the time being, we only have 1, 3, and 4. Our baby villager has finally grown, and it's a farmer. Mitzi wants wheat for villager receipt 2, which is great, because we have automated that as well. Let's give Mitzi some wheat, and that's our villager receipt 2 completed. Now that we upgraded our first villager to level master, it will unlock the possibility to trade 15 basic trading bucks for a nether passport fragment. We will need these nether passport fragments to then be able to craft the nether passport and finally access the nether. I'm not sure if there's currently a faster way, but I really need villager receipt number 5, so I think I'll look for a different villager and either find a baby or an unemployed villager or somebody who's able to give it to us. Before I go exploring, I'd really like to get myself a sword, specifically a flux sword that always has at least loot in one. To get one, we'll need 12 basic bounty bucks from the catalog, and the basic bounty bucks are obtained in the market by selling meat with a basic bounty license. To get a basic bounty license, we'll need 9 basic bounty fragments, which, as the quest book says, have a 50% chance of dropping from a passive mob killed with a stone sword. We now have enough basic bounty fragments. We can put them in the metallurgic infuser with some redstone, and that's our basic bounty license. We can now use our basic bounty license to sell the meat we've just been hunting, and with 12 basic bounty bucks, we can now buy our flux sword. Now that I've got my sword, I feel a bit safer, and I'm ready to explore looking for a village. After a lot of fighting, a lot of exploring, a death, I'm finally in a village and we can steal this little Humberto. Welcome to your new home. While we wait, I'd really like to work on full automating basic mining bugs with the specialized cobblestone license we made in the last episode. And to do that, we'll need to move this quantum compressor, remove these pipes, move it here, give it some power, and add the unbreakable basic mining license. Now we add some logistic transporter here and here and here and configure this to extract. I can manually move this cobblestone. We'll now craft a specialized cobblestone license, automatically bring it to the market, and this will now sell cobblestone for us. And that's a specialized cobblestone license for this market as well. By leaving it here, the demand will slowly go up, however, the license will lose durability. I'll move the drawer a block away, add a few logistical transporter, add a drawer, cashier that is disconnected from the back, and configure this to extract on the side. This will now act as a buffer. Anytime the quantum compressor is gonna make a specialized cobblestone license, if it can't fit in the market, it will end up in this drawer and then it will extract it back into the system. What we need to do next is exponentially improve our resource generation. And 6 resource generator later, I can now place them here, add a piece of cobblestone in each one, and connect it with some pipes. Now the last thing we need to do is add a couple of pipes here, place a drawer here, and configure these ones to extract. And we now have basic mining blocks getting generated infinitely for us. Our little Humberto has grown up and is now a leather worker. He's now gonna trade leather for villager receipt number 5, which is the one we're missing. I only have a limited amount of leather to trade, and although it's not enough for us to level him, we now have all the receipts that we need to craft the basic trading license. And I've run out of time for today, guys. We got to this point. Thank you so much for following along. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!